Welcome to class. This class is all about creating optimal mobility in the foot and the ankle through pronation and supination. Now you might be thinking, isn't pronation bad? Doesn't pronation mean I have flat feet? We need pronation and supination equally and the access to both to have optimal foot and ankle mobility. Pronation is when the midfoot, so the arches, flatten and splay, and the heel rolls inward. Supination is when the midfoot and arches lift up and we roll to the outside of the heel. In a normal walking gait, we should move through both of these, pronation and supination, because they help with optimal loading and shock absorption, give us access to hip internal and external rotation, which gives us healthy glutes, hips, and pelvic floors, and backs. Before we begin, let's do a quick test. We're going to go skiing. So stand with your feet about hip distance apart and look down at your feet. Softly bend your knees so you're loose. And then I just want you to assess in your own body how easy it is for you to go into and out of pronation and supination. So we're going to start by pronating our left foot. So drop your left midfoot down, roll to the inside of your left heel. So you'll see your knee rolls in. And you'll look, how much does my midfoot flatten, splay, get wider? And as you're moving into pronation on the left, you'll notice that you'll automatically roll to supination on the right. So how well on my right foot am I gathering up and creating more of an arch and able to roll the outside of my foot? And then let's reverse it. So now we'll roll into pronation on the right, spread, splay, flatten your arches, roll to the inside of your left foot. So you're really trying to collapse the right foot. Collapse the right foot. Roll to the inside of the right foot and spread it. And you'll notice the outside of the left foot is getting more weight and you're lifting the arch of the left foot. Good. Just do that a few more times, paying attention to how well your midfoot flattens and how well your midfoot lifts. Those arches flatten and how well those arches lift, and then how easy it is to roll to the outside and the inside of your heels. A mobile foot is a happy foot. So if that felt stiff in any position, let's see if we can start to create more mobility. We're going to start by working on the midfoot mobility. So I've got two balls with me today. That's all we need, one larger, one smaller. We're going to start with rolling out the bottom of the midfoot. Take your ball, place it underneath the inside of your heel. And then from here, you're going to roll your foot back. So place some weight onto the ball and start to roll your foot back so that you're passing in a straight line toward your big toe knuckle. And once you get to the big toe knuckle, you'll move the ball slightly to the right. We're going to start with the right foot. And then you'll move from the base of the second toe down to the heel. And this is where you might start to find some juicy spots that feel extra tender. And if you have those, I recommend you hang out for a sec. Take a few slow breaths. Think about the tissue melting over the ball. And even work on bending and straightening your toes, because that will mobilize the tissue and get a better release. Whew. Continue on your path down toward the heel. Good. And then move the ball slightly again to the right. Move up slowly to the third toe. So you're going to make your way up to the third toe, the base of the third toe. Make sure you're really giving yourself some good weight so you really feel this. Move to the right, come down the base of the fourth toe to the heel. Keep the weight on there. So this is really good. If you had a hard time flattening your arch into pronation, this is a really good technique to incorporate. And then once you get to your heel, move the ball to the right. You're going to make your way up to the pinky or the fifth toe. Excellent. And again, you can take your time with that. You don't have to stay with me. And then let's switch to the left foot. So we'll start at the base of the left heel and we'll work our way up to the left big toe knuckle. Give yourself lots of pressure and know that this left foot is not your right foot. They are different feet. Oh, and if it's a lot more intense, maybe it's your stiffer foot, or if it's not, just notice. And again, take your time. You can definitely stop, pause, breathe, melt, do some toe flexions, extensions. Move to the second toe. Make your way down the second toe. Make sure you give yourself enough pressure that you can take but not hurt. Make your way down toward the heel from the second toe. Take your time. And then move again to the left. Now you're making your way up to the third toe. And we're trying to do this, systematically so we can really get some good information to what foot's tighter, where is it tighter. Fourth toe. So every step we take, our foot moves into pronation and spreads. And that loads up the muscle energy. All the muscles on the bottom of the feet spread. And then when we go to push off, move your foot to the left. And now you're going up the baby toe. When you go to push off, all that muscle energy that's stored because we're stretched out in pronation gets utilized, and we bring our foot up into that arch, into that rigid arch, so that we almost get springy type action with every push off. But that only happens if we can access full pronation. And if you just did the fourth toe and not the pinky, go ahead and do the pinky. So you really need to be able to access full flattening and dropping inward on the heel and full lifting and dropping outward on the heel to have optimal load absorption and shock absorption. Okay, so quick ski, just to see, do things feel different? Look down at your feet, feet hip distance apart, shift your feet. Is it easier to move through pronation and supination on both feet? Definitely is for me. The other part of the midfoot that we need to release so that we can access better pronation is the top of the midfoot. So take your smaller ball, and it's going to find its way right in between your big toe and your second toe on the top of the foot in a kneeling position. So we'll start with the right foot. And if your knees are tender, you can put a blanket under them. And so I've got the ball right underneath where my big toe and my baby toe meet, in between those long bones. And I'm just pushing down with my own body, like I'm trying to push my foot into the mat. And I'm going to hang in this spot in between my first and my second toes. Not even toes, but like toe knuckles. So right here at the top. And we're going to work our way from here down along each of those paths from each toe. And if this isn't enough pressure, then that's great. If not, if you want more pressure, you can always take the left foot and push down into the heel or the foot to get more feeling and sensation. So you start your rolling from the top and work your way down toward the top of the foot. It's going to feel crunchy and crickly. And then I like to come back up slightly to the right. And now I'm more in between my second and third toe, pushing down into the ball, rolling from toes to top of ankle. Then I'm going to go from top of ankle back up. Maybe I'm more toward my third and fourth. I'm really pushing down. And this is very interesting. And it's harder to be very specific on the top of the foot, so just work your way back and forth and use and play with applying more or less pressure. Blah. And then we'll switch sides. Before you switch sides, you can smack the right foot on the ground to just kind of wipe that clear. All right, left foot. Take where the big toe, and really the big toe and the first toe are where you get the most juiciness, and you need the most mobility. So I like to sit for a second right at the top of the foot where my toes are meeting, or the bases of my toes are meeting between the big toe and the first toe. I'm just going to stay there. Maybe I'll play around with more pressure, push down, really sink in, feel that stretch in between the tops of my metatarsals. And then I'll start my rolling. Yeah. If you get a weird tingling, know that there's a nerve there and you might have rolled over it, because I just got it. It's part of your nerves that pass from your foot ankle into your toes. Don't stay there, just roll over it and move on. And now I'm just rolling back and forth, moving to the left in between my third and fourth. And you'll feel some really tough spots. So just like the bottom of the foot can get stiff and tight and hold us into rigid supination, so we can't pronate, the top of the foot also gets really tight. We have tightness through our shins, or we're always using our toes, lifting our toes up. That can cause a lot of top of foot tightness. Oh, this is a different foot than the other one. Whoo! This one needs a lot more work, but we're going to stop there. So we have more to do, but you can always spend more time. All right, so now that you've done the top of your foot, come back and retest. How does it feel? Oh, yeah. Feeling a lot more movement through all of those metatarsal bones. Those are the bones, the metatarsals and the cuboids and cuneiforms. Those are the bones that make up the arch. They need a lot of movement, and they're moving more now. All right. So we've worked on the midfoot. The other component to getting good pronation is what's happening at the hindfoot, so the heel. So we're going to stretch the gastroc and soleus so that we can release what's happening at the heel and get a little bit more mobility there. So I'm going to use the wall. These are my favorite gastroc soleus stretches. Hands to the wall, starting with the right leg back, left leg forward in the shape of a lunge. So I want to make sure that both of my feet are facing as straight ahead as I'm comfortable in my body. That's number one. Two, I'm going to make sure that I've got the weight on the tripods of my feet. So my heels, my big toes, knuckles, and my baby toe knuckles on both feet. Okay. And then three, I want to make sure my butt headlights. So if my butt had headlights, the headlights would be looking directly behind me, not over to the left, not over to the right. I really want to think about directly behind me so we can get that whole back line of stretching. All right. Now, as we continue into this gastroc stretch first, we're going to keep the right knee straight. Keep our bottom sticking out slightly so we're not tucking. And we'll keep the weight on the tripod. That's probably the most important thing. Don't let your heel collapse inward or outward. Really be on the center of the heel. And then you can begin to bend into the left knee more. As you bend into the left knee more, I want you to think about driving the center of your right heel through the floor. Really pushing down. Now you can always come to your elbows if that's not enough. You've got really open feet. So as I'm driving through my right heel, I'm also pushing down through my big toe knuckle. I'm doing this to really stretch the whole line of fascia and muscles. The gastroc connects into the plantar fascia. Plantar fascia can hold us rigid. There we go. So you'll hold this stretch for 30 seconds to a minute with nice deep breath, really pressing the heel down. And then from here, you'll come up, back onto your hands, so you're on your elbows, and this is where we'll stretch the soleus. So we'll unlock and bend the knee. I think about the knee. If the kneecap had eyes, it's looking straight down to the floor. I don't want it looking to the left leg or to the right leg or the right side. So my kneecap's looking down. I still have weight on my big toe, baby toe, and center of the heel. And as I'm pressing, now I'm really going to reach my heel into the ground. Think about my knee reaching forward. And The stretch goes way lower into this part of my calf and into more of my Achilles tendon, which is safe and normal. And again, I'll breathe here for 30 seconds. Slight bend of the knee, still weight on the tripod. All right, now we'll release. Gently straighten the knee, bring the left leg back, bring the right leg forward. Find the tripods of both feet. Check your butt headlights. Again, this might be a different foot. I already feel it in my left leg. I'm pushing straight through the floor with my left heel, and I feel a lot of stretch in my gastroc. If you don't, you can bend your elbows and bend your right knee more. Find your breath. And then slowly, you might need to back off your stretch a little bit. You'll bend your left knee, thinking about your left knee that had eyes looking straight to the floor. Press the knee down like you're bending it, and then press the heel into the floor. Continue to press down through your big toe knuckle. Don't let the big toe knuckle lift off. You'll feel the stretch into the soleus and the Achilles. Check your butt headlights. Mine were shifting. 30 seconds to a minute. Slowly straighten and back off. All right, so we worked on the midfoot in 2 ways with the rolling. We worked on the calf. Let's come into skiing. Quick check. How's it feeling? Are you getting a little bit more mobility, a little bit more ease through pronation and supination? The last thing we're going to do is the hands-on manual technique that I do a lot with our clients and students. I also teach everybody. And it's a manual technique to help that midfoot splay. So imagine my hands are holding my own foot. They're going to hold them like this. My thumbs are going to go on the top of the middle of the foot. My fingers are going to go underneath the foot. With my hands, I'm going to push down into the top of the foot. Think about prying it open, pushing and spreading, while with my fingers underneath, I think about pulling the bones open and apart. Pulling open and apart, like I'm fanning some cards, like I'm shuffling a deck. Push and open. It looks like this. Okay, so if you got your foot, your thumb is your hand. My thumbs go on top, right like that. My fingers go underneath. You don't want to do it in this position, but I'm just showing you. I'm going to push down with my thumbs into those long bones on the top of my foot as I pull and splay, pull and splay. And I start here at the toes, work my way in the middle, and then go closer to the ankle. And I'll do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And it might feel really stiff there, and that's when you can get a friend to help. Other side. Thumbs on top, splay 1, push and spread 2, push and spread 3. If you don't want to do it lifted, you could do it like this, seated. Push and spread 1, push and spread 2, push and spread 3. Awkward, but effective. All right, so those are your tools to help you access and maintain pronation supination for healthy foot, ankle, knee, hip, pelvic floor, back. Check your skiing. Now, not only is this moving through pronation and supination a great test and retest, this is a great thing to do in life. So if you're doing something where you're standing barefoot in your house and you're able to do this, I would do it because it encourages the maintenance of that pronation and supination mobility. You could even do it in shoes as long as you have nice wide shoes where your feet can move. I would do it as often as I could. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Keep working on your pronation and supination. I'll see you next time.